Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings for Wednesday, April the 5th. We have an 8-game slate for Wednesday, which feels nice because it feels like lately, man, we've had like massive slates and then we've had like a bunch of really small slates, but we finally have like a mid-sized slate for today, so 8 games, a lot of teams on back-to-backs, so it's going to be a tough slate to break down the night before. You guys know I always record these videos the night before, and because there's so many teams on back-to-backs today, you're going to probably see a lot of guys sit. There's going to be some rest today, but we'll try and break down everything, talk about kind of like if-thens, if guys wind up sitting, but yeah, we'll go game by game, give you guys kind of a quick overview of this 8-game slate, what I do like, taking a first look on Tuesday night when I'm recording this video. But as always, guys, before we get started with the breakdown, if you guys enjoy these DFS videos, if they help you out, make sure you hit that like button down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. We're getting very close to 40,000 subscribers, so would appreciate it if you guys would subscribe. And also, if you're new to the channel and you've never checked out PrizePicks before, PrizePicks is the sponsor of this video. You guys can sign up for PrizePicks and use my promo code NOAH. When you sign up, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you sign up with my promo code. And for those of you that have never heard about PrizePicks, they, again, are a player prop site. So really simple, easy to use. You're just taking more or less on a player's projection. It's as simple as that. You have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 6 picks. You can win up to 25x your money on PrizePicks. Now, at the time I'm making this video, you can see there's really not many props up on the board. We only have some props up for this Knicks-Pacers game. But take a look at the board again sometime on Wednesday afternoon. You'll see a ton of props up in all different categories from just about every game. And if there's anything that stands out to you, if you think a line is too high or too low, you just take more or less. It's as simple as that. If you guys are not signed up for PrizePicks though, make sure you sign up. Use that promo code NOAH when you do, and again, you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. But let's go ahead and talk through this Wednesday slate, guys. We'll start off again with that first game, the Knicks and the Pacers. We'll start off with the Indiana side. So for the Pacers today, it looks like once again they're going to be no Tyrese Halliburton here. Miles Turner is questionable for this game. I think it's pretty likely that Miles Turner doesn't play the rest of the season. The Pacers have nothing to play for. It looks like they're not going to play Halliburton the rest of the season. So I doubt Miles Turner plays. And that's really the only injury news. No Chris Duarte for Indiana, but the big news I guess is to keep an eye on Turner's status. Obviously, if Turner's out, that just solidifies Isaiah Jackson and Jalen Smith for pretty much all the center minutes. Those guys are pretty much going to split the center minutes if Turner's out again. But I don't see a ton that I'm really loving on Indiana today. Obviously, if Turner plays, I'm not going to have any interest in those guys. The bigs. Andrew Nembhard has had a big role lately. He's been playing pretty good minutes, but he feels priced where he should be at 6,400. Also, think this matchup against the Knicks is not the greatest. So at 6,400, I don't really have a ton of interest in Andrew Nembhard. Benedict Matherin's another guy that's had a really big role lately. He's been playing huge minutes. He's kind of been like their lead usage guy, taking a lot of shots. I think at 6,200, he is okay, but again, feels priced where he should be. Jordan Nwora, another guy that's had a really big role, been playing big minutes. He's kind of one of these younger guys they just want to try and develop, see what they have in him. So I think we can expect 30-plus minutes for Nembhard, for Mathurin, Nwora. These guys are all playable options, but I wouldn't consider any of them priority plays. TJ McConnell's going to come off the bench, probably play low to mid-20s minutes. His minutes have not been as high lately, which is a little concerning. But TJ McConnell is a really good permanent producer, and even in 24 minutes, he can put up 30-plus DraftKings points. I don't mind McConnell as a value play, but I have a feeling on a slate like this with so many teams on back-to-backs, there's going to be a lot of value available. And then Buddy Hield just has not really been playing that much. It seems like they're just trying to, they just don't want Buddy Hield to get injured, I guess. He's not really someone they need to develop right now. They're just playing him mid-20s minutes, so it's really hard for Buddy Hield to post much of a ceiling. And then the bigs, Jalen Smith and Isaiah Jackson, they're pretty much going to split the center minutes if Miles Turner's out. They've kind of been going back and forth with who starts. Some nights it's been Smith, some nights it's been Jackson. Whoever starts, I would feel a little bit better about. As of late, Smith has been playing pretty good minutes, 29 minutes, 27 minutes. He's a good permanent producer. It's not the greatest matchup by any means. The Knicks are pretty good defensively against the center position, but if Jalen Smith starts, he'll be playable. If Isaiah Jackson starts, he would be playable. I would assume that if Turner is out, I think it'll be Smith that starts, but I'm not really sure about that. They've kind of been going back and forth with who they start at center. No priority plays coming from Indiana, but there are a couple of guys you could definitely target here in GPPs. Now, on the other side with the Knicks, still no Julius Randle for the Knicks, and then RJ Barrett is questionable for this game, so this will be something to keep an eye on. Obviously, the Knicks, they're a team that runs a pretty tight rotation. I think the Knicks still have something to play for, so we can expect them to play their normal guys, big minutes. We're seeing Jalen Brunson obviously have a massive role right now without Julius Randle. He's playing huge minutes. He's taken a ton of shots. His usage has been great. The only issue with Brunson is that he is over 9K now, so at 9,200, it's not like we're getting much of a discount on Brunson. But you can see the last few games without Randle, I mean, the upside is definitely there. 69 DraftKings points, 46 DraftKings points. I think Brunson is still a playable option. Emmanuel Quickley's had a big role, been starting. He did start last game in place of RJ Barrett. At 7,800, I would only consider Quickley at this price tag if Barrett is out again. If Barrett plays, I don't really have any interest in Quickley just because he is so expensive. And then Quentin Grimes has had a big role as well. Been playing big minutes. He's been super productive. 6,500, I'll pass on Quentin Grimes here. Even if Barrett's out, I really don't have much interest in Grimes. If Barrett himself plays, I think at 6,200, he looks okay. He should have a big role here without Julius Randle. Should play big minutes as long as the game's competitive. And I think 6,200 is too cheap for him. He's probably my second favorite play on the Knicks behind Jalen Brunson. And then the rest of the Knicks, like Mitchell Robinson, it's a good matchup, but probably not going to go to Mitchell Robinson. Josh Hart is playable. I would like Josh Hart more if RJ Barrett was out, but he's playable, but not a guy that I'm super interested in. I really think that's it for the Knicks. I guess last guy we'll mention is Obi Toppin. So Obi Toppin has started the last two games in place of Julius Randle. Minutes have not been great for Toppin. He did play 33 minutes last game, though, against the Wizards. I think he definitely benefited with Barrett being out that game. The game against Cleveland, however, he started that game and only played 19 minutes. So it's hard to really tell how many minutes Toppin's going to get here, but I definitely think if there's no RJ Barrett, that does secure Toppin's minutes more. I would like Toppin a lot more if Barrett got ruled out, but I still think he's playable, even if Barrett is in. But that's really it for the Knicks. I think that's it for this game. So let's move on to the next game, Brooklyn and Detroit. So for Detroit today, they're a team that I've kind of just been avoiding lately. I really have not been targeting many Detroit guys. Marvin Bagley was out on Tuesday. We'll have to see if he plays here. Bojan and McGruder, I think a lot of the guys that have been out lately, Bojan, McGruder, Burks, I think we can expect these guys to remain out. They're probably not going to play again the rest of the season. So for this Detroit team, I don't love a ton today, but I do want to mention that Jalen Duren, I think, did start on, I'm pretty sure he started on Tuesday night, if I remember correctly. He played 36 minutes, so he definitely started Tuesday night, and that was not the greatest matchup either against Miami. He went out there and crushed, put up 43 DK points. It looks like he did start. They started him alongside James Wiseman. So if Marvin Bagley's out again, I think we're going to see them start Duren and Wiseman together. And Duren played 36 minutes, and Duren is a really good perimeter producer. He's a guy that can rebound really well, and the Nets have been a pretty bad rebounding team this season. So I think it's a really good spot for Jalen Duren. If he starts again, he is definitely my favorite play on Detroit. I don't have a ton of interest in really anyone else, though. Killian Hayes and Jaden Ivey, I guess, are playable options, but they both feel priced where they should be. 7,100 for Ivey. I know he had a big game Tuesday night, but not a priority for me. Killian Hayes at 5,800 feels priced about where he should be. Duren, though, I definitely think is a little bit underpriced and looks like a pretty good value if he starts again. And that's really it for Detroit. Nothing else looks that great here. On the other side, though, with Brooklyn, so right now, I think Brooklyn is a team that does have something to play for. They're currently the 6th seed in the East, but I believe they're only one game ahead of the Heat, and I'm pretty sure Brooklyn lost on Tuesday, if I remember correctly. Maybe not. I can't remember honestly. But I think Brooklyn still wants to win games right now, so we can expect them to play their main guys pretty big minutes here as long as the game is competitive. It is a back-to-back for Brooklyn, so we'll definitely have to monitor their injury report. There's again a lot of teams on back-to-backs today. But Mikal Bridges, Spencer Dinwiddie, Nick Claxton, I think all these guys are in really good spots here against Detroit. Detroit's been one of the worst defensive teams in the league. They feel priced about where they should be. I think Claxton is the most underpriced at 7,100. Claxton, once again, got pretty good minutes on Tuesday, 32 minutes. Wasn't very productive, only 31 DK points, but we know Claxton is a guy that can produce when he does get minutes. The matchup's great, so I'm really into Claxton here. I think Bridges and Dinwiddie are both pretty good options too. Again, they feel more priced where they should be, but the matchup's great. Brooklyn should put up plenty of points here. I definitely think the big three, these three main guys all look solid. There's nothing else, though, that I'm really liking on Brooklyn. So I think we can go ahead and move on to the next game, Toronto and Boston. So another game where you have two teams on a back-to-back. Boston did not have Jaylen Brown on Tuesday night, so we'll have to see if Jaylen Brown plays here on Wednesday. I'd assume he does. I assume he sat Tuesday, just probably because they were going to plan on playing him today. But yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on the rest of the Boston guys. We've seen Boston rest players on back-to-backs. I think Tatum plays today, but it's not like a guarantee. I'd assume Al Horford sits and Robert Williams plays. Robert Williams did not play Tuesday, but he'll probably be back for this one. And then Horford has been sitting back-to-back, so I guess Horford will be out. On this Boston team, assuming they have everyone available, I think we can pretty much say that Horford's not going to play, but everyone else, I think we just have to assume is going to be available. I don't see any priorities coming from Boston. Tatum at 10,600 feels priced about right. Don't love the spot against Toronto. Brown at 9,400 feels priced where he should be. The guards, I don't really have a ton of interest in. I think the one guy that I could see going to would be Robert Williams, assuming that Horford does rest here. Now, the only issue with Robert Williams is that his minutes have just not been that good lately. Even if Horford's out, I really don't know how many minutes Williams plays. Since he's come back from injury, he's only played 21, 16, 19, 15, and 19 minutes. I think all those games have been with Horford. Honestly, you don't know. But I definitely think, Williams could see pretty 24 minutes here. I assume he starts in place of Horford. So we know Robert Williams can produce when he does get minutes. I don't mind him as a value, but again, pretty good slate, 8 games, pretty decent size slate. A lot of teams on back-to-backs. Probably going to be a lot of value today. Don't really see Robert Williams being a priority value, but I think he would be playable. But again, there's no priorities coming from Boston, assuming that just about everyone is in here. Now on the Toronto side, Toronto, I think they're another team that's fighting for playoff position. They're fighting for better seeding, so we can expect them, I think, to keep this, or to treat this like any other game, to play their main guys big minutes. The matchup against Boston is obviously not great. I don't really see any priority plays coming from Toronto. Siakam, Van Vliet, Scotty Barnes, OG, Pirtle. If this game's competitive, you're probably getting 30-plus minutes from all those guys, and Siakam, Van Vliet, Barnes, OG could play 36 minutes. But again, matchup against Boston, price tags feel correct. I don't love a ton here. This is not a game I have a ton of interest in overall. There's some playable options, but no priorities coming from this one. So let's move on to the next game, Washington and Atlanta. So for Atlanta today, going to have to keep an eye on some news here. Trae Young did not play on Tuesday night. He was out with an illness. Don't know if he's going to play for this game or not. Atlanta, they got actually a big win Tuesday night against the Bulls without Trae Young. So that was huge for them. They obviously need to win games because they're fighting for playoff position right now. So if Trae plays, I think it's a really good spot for him. I mean, Washington's defense is not one I think we should really fear. I think it's a good matchup for Trae. I definitely would have interest in Trae if he plays. I think DeJounte Murray at 7,900 would be an okay option as well. And then the rest of Atlanta, I think it's a really good spot for Clint Capella. The only issue is that Clint Capella's minutes have just not been that great. He's only been playing 26, 28 minutes a night. Rarely do you see him play over 30 minutes. But this is a matchup where I think he should be very productive. So I don't mind Capella for GBPs. Nothing else on Atlanta, though, looks that great. But I do want to mention DeAndre Hunter was also out Tuesday, and we did see Saddiq Bey start in place of Hunter. Saddiq Bey's been pretty good as a starter. He's been playing good minutes lately. He would be another good value on the slate, 5,500. He's priced up a little bit more, but I think if Hunter is out again, we can expect Saddiq Bey to start, play pretty good minutes, and at 5,500, he looks solid. Now, I do want to mention that if Trae Young is out again, then a lot of the guys that did really well Tuesday, we can kind of look to go back to. DeJounte Murray did not have the best game Tuesday without Trae Young, but Murray would have a really big role here. 7,900 is just way too cheap for him with Trae out. I don't care that he kind of busted Tuesday. I'd be fine going right back to Murray here if there's no Trae. And then I think, a lot of the other guys like, Saddiq Bey, assuming that, DeAndre Hunter's out. Bogdan had a really big game Tuesday, played good minutes. I think at 5K, he would look really good if Trae Young's out again. He would be a guy to have a lot of interest in. So that's kind of what I'm liking from Atlanta here. Obviously, the Trae Young news is big, though. And on the other side with Washington, so Washington's kind of just thrown in the towel. I'm pretty sure they've officially been eliminated from the playoffs. So I would be surprised if Porzingis, Brad Beal, Kuzma, I would be surprised if they play again this season. I expect they're going to be out once again here. Denny Avdia is going to be out, I think, for the rest of the season as well, that they said. And then DeLon Wright was a late scratch on Tuesday with an illness, so we don't really know if he's going to play. We saw a big game from guys like, Johnny Davis, Jordan Goodwin. Those guys projected as really good values once, Avdia got ruled out, once DeLon Wright got ruled out. And I think if all these guys are out again for Washington, we can look to go right back to Johnny Davis, to Jordan Goodwin. Davis played 36 minutes, was very productive, had 40 DraftKings points. Great matchup against Atlanta. I think Johnny Davis is going to be a really good value today if all these guys sit. I think Jordan Goodwin's going to be a great value at 4,700 if all these guys sit. Those would be my two favorite plays from Washington. You could look to get to some of the bench guys too, like a Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn did not play a ton of minutes, but he was really productive in the minutes that he played. I don't expect him to average over 2 DraftKings points per minute, but I think Nunn is going to have a big usage rate when he's on the floor. He's going to be productive when he's out there. The fact that he only played 22 minutes is a little concerning. I would definitely want to see him play more than that, but I think Nunn is an okay value at 3,800. I would just be a little cautious because I could see him getting a ton of ownership just because he did so well Tuesday night. And then, guys like Corey Kispert, Daniel Gafford could be playable options as well. Gafford, minutes should be pretty secure here. I think he might have gotten into some foul trouble against Giannis on Tuesday, but he was really productive in the minutes that he got. 26 DK points in 21 minutes, 6,300. Not a super cheap price tag on Gafford. He'd be okay. Kispert would be okay at 5,700 if all these guys are out again. But definitely, again, my favorite plays from Washington, assuming there's no Beal, there's no Kuzma, there's no Porzingis, no DeLon Wright, no Monte Morris. Like, assuming all these guys are out again, really like Jordan Goodwin and Johnny Davis. Those are definitely my 2 favorite values on Washington. But I think that'll do it for that game. We kind of talked about everything there, so let's move on to the next one, Chicago and Milwaukee. Another game where we have 2 teams on a back-to-back today. Milwaukee did not have Chris Middleton on Tuesday. I'm guessing Chris Middleton will play here. We've seen Milwaukee rest starters, rest guys on back-to-back, so I think we'll definitely have to monitor their injury report. For now, we'll just assume that everyone is playing. If everyone is playing for Milwaukee, I think the one guy that you could go to here is Giannis. Like I said earlier, this is a slate where we're probably going to have a lot of value, so paying up for Giannis should be pretty easy to do. And Giannis at this point is just like a cheat code. He's a matchup-proof player. He's basically a guaranteed like 40 DraftKings points a night, if not more than that. Matchup against Chicago, I think, is one that Giannis can definitely have success in. So, yeah, I think Giannis is a great pay-up option if he plays today. If he doesn't play, if they rest him on the back-to-back, and if they maybe rest Drew or something, then we could look to Middleton. But Middleton is $9K, so it's not like he's that cheap. The rest of the Milwaukee guys like Brolo, Bobby Portis, you're probably only considering these guys if Milwaukee decides to rest starters. But for now, we just kind of have to assume that everyone is playing for the Bucks. And on the other side with Chicago, another team that really needs to win games right now. They're fighting for playoff seeding. Don't love this matchup against Milwaukee, but I think we can expect really big minutes for DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic as long as this game is competitive. Where they're priced at and given the matchup, I don't think any of these guys are priority plays today, but they're fine GBP options. They're fine to go to as like low-owned dart throws, but there's no standout plays coming from the Bulls here. Most of my interest in this game is on the Milwaukee side, and with Giannis specifically, he's the guy that I like most from the Bucks today. But that'll do it for that game. Let's move on to the next one, Memphis and New Orleans. Another game with 2 teams on a back-to-back. We got the Pelicans and the Grizzlies here. On the Pelicans side, I think we can expect everyone to be in for the Pelicans. The Pelicans, they're another team that needs to win games right now. They're fighting for playoff seeding, so we can expect really big minutes for guys like Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum. J-Val's minutes have been a little bit more secure lately. The price tags on these Pelicans guys, though, don't make any of them look that great, especially like Ingram. I did play in my lineup on Tuesday, and he had a okay game. He wasn't great. He's 9,900 now, so I think at 9,900 and in a matchup against Memphis that I don't love, I'm not as high on Ingram today. He's kind of expensive. He's tough to get to. I think he's still playable, but not a priority option. McCollum has just been like dreadful lately. His production's been pretty bad. He's had like 5 bad games in a row. Feel like at some point he's going to have a good game. He's been playing really big minutes, but the production's just been down lately. McCollum's playable, but not a great option to me. J-Val's minutes have been a little bit more secure. We're seeing him play kind of like upper 20s minutes, whereas before, some of those games he would only play like 20 minutes. Well, now he's been getting like high 20s. We've even seen him get over 30 minutes. I think without Steven Adams, this matchup against Memphis is okay. We've seen centers do well against Memphis lately, so I don't mind J-Val as a tournament play at low ownership. But I don't see any standout options coming from this Pelicans team. And on the other side with Memphis, we're going to have to monitor Memphis's injury report. I think Memphis, they still probably want to win games right now because I don't think they're locked into the 2 seed yet. I think they could still, maybe the Kings could still pass them, or maybe they could catch the Nuggets. I think the Grizzlies actually could catch the Nuggets for the 2 seed. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm guessing Memphis is going to play all their guys here, but we did see, I think last time they were on a back-to-back, they sat Desmond Bane, they sat Jaren Jackson Jr., they sat Tyus Jones, so it's kind of a wait and see for this Grizzlies team. If we assume that everyone is playing for Memphis, there's nothing that looks that great here besides John Morant as a tournament play. At 10,300, I think Ja is priced where he should be, but he's always a guy that you could look to go to in GBPs. We know that Ja has massive upside anytime he steps on the floor, but I think there's other guys I'd rather pay up for. We'll talk about Kawhi Leonard in a second. We've already talked about Giannis, who I like, so not a priority, but Ja's probably my favorite play on Memphis if I had to play anyone here. But I definitely could see Memphis resting some guys today. Again, they've been doing that on back-to-back. They did that on their last back-to-back, and don't really know how bad Memphis really wants to win games right now. I don't think they really care. They're pretty much, I think they might be locked into the 2 seed. Not 100% sure on that, but let's go ahead and talk about the last 2 games of the night, guys, before we wrap up this video. So Sacramento and Dallas. We'll start off on the Dallas side. So Dallas, I don't know what Dallas is going to do here. I think Dallas still has a chance to potentially make the play-in tournament, but there was reports that they potentially could be shutting down Luka, shutting down Kyrie. But for now, it looks like they're at least going to play this game. Luka, I think, is probable, and so is Kyrie. It's a great matchup against Sacramento. I think we can expect the Mavericks to treat this game like a really important game. And you look at the last 2 games for the Mavericks. Luka played 45 minutes in regulation against Miami. Last game against Atlanta, he played 44 minutes in overtime. He's been playing massive minutes lately. He should continue to play massive minutes as long as the Mavericks have something to play for. So I still think Luka looks really good at 12K. I just think his floor is so high right now that even at that 12K price tag, I'm fine paying up for him, especially on a slate where we're probably going to have plenty of value. And then Kyrie Irving, I'm not as interested in at 9,800, but I still think he's in play. He's going to get huge minutes here as well. I think his ceiling is definitely high in what should be a pretty good matchup against Sacramento. So I'm fine with both those Dallas guys. But the rest of Dallas, Christian Wood, THJ, Josh Green, none of these guys are appealing to me. It's really just Luka and Kyrie. Now on the other side with Sacramento, I think we can expect them to treat this like any other game. Right now, they're currently the 3 seed. They're not going to lose the 3 seed, but they maybe could catch the Grizzlies for the 2 seed. I'm not 100% sure on that. So I think Sacramento wants to win games here. They're on a back-to-back. We'll have to monitor their injury report, but if we assume that everyone's playing for Sacramento today, I'm fine going to both Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. The Mavericks defense has been really, really bad lately. I think this is a team you can definitely beat down low with bigs. I just don't really think they have any good defensive bigs to slow down like a guy like Sabonis. So I think it's a really good spot for Sabonis. At 10,100, he's a fine pay-up option today. I think he's firmly in play. I think De'Aaron Fox at 8,200 looks too cheap here. Really good spot for him. Dallas' defense, again, has been really poor lately. So I'm definitely interested in both of the big 2 from Sacramento, Fox and Sabonis. Really don't have any interest in anyone else, though. It's just those 2 guys that I like. So I think that's it for this game. Let's go ahead and talk about the last game of the night, the Lakers and the Clippers. And this is another game that is very important for playoff seeding, for playoff position. Right now, I think in the West, the Clippers, currently the 5 seed. The Lakers, I think, are currently like the 7 seed. But these teams are like neck and neck for seeding. And I think if the Lakers win this game, they could potentially jump up to the 5 seed. So this is a really, really big game for both these teams. We can expect, I think, for the most part, these teams to treat this like kind of like a playoff game. We'll start off on the Clippers side. I would assume we're going to get really big minutes here for Kawhi Leonard, really big minutes for Russell Westbrook probably as well. Kawhi, I made him the thumbnail for today. I think he looks like one of the better pay-up options on this slate. I think the matchup against the Lakers is really good. I don't think... I mean, the Lakers' defense has been better lately, but I don't know if they really have anyone that can slow down Kawhi here. They might put LeBron on him if LeBron plays. We'll talk about that in a second. I really like Kawhi. He's obviously going to have a big role without Paul George. Minutes have been great lately. I think he's a really strong pay-up option today. And then Russell Westbrook, I don't mind either. I mean, it's a revenge game for Russell Westbrook. He probably is going to, he's probably going to be motivated for this one after leaving the Lakers. The Lakers, obviously, the fan base didn't treat him the best. So I think Westbrook's really going to get up for this game. He's going to want to play well. And Westbrook's been playing pretty well lately in the games without Paul George. He's had a big role. He's been playing big minutes. I think at 8,900, he is a fine option here. I'm fine going to Westbrook at that price tag. The rest of the Clippers, however, like Norman Powell, Ivica Zubac, these guys I don't have a ton of interest in. I think if I was going to play any Clippers today, it would be Kawhi and Russ. Nothing else looks that great on the Clippers. Do want to mention that Eric Gordon's questionable, so this will kind of be something to keep an eye on. If Eric Gordon is out, I think that would bring Norman Powell into play. Last game we did see Norman Powell start, play 32 minutes, was not very productive, but the fact that he played 32 minutes was definitely encouraging, and if we're going to get 30-plus minutes from Norman Powell at 5,500, yeah, he's definitely going to be viable. But I think he's only in play for me if he starts again. But that'll do it for the Clippers side. Now, talking about the Lakers today, so we have no idea what the Lakers are going to do here. They won a overtime game against Utah on Tuesday night, a game they should have won pretty easily. It somehow went to overtime, and they almost lost in overtime. But the Lakers already came out and said that Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and D'Angelo Russell are all uncertain here. We don't know if AD, LeBron, or Russell are going to play. Russell did not play Tuesday, so we'll have to see if he plays here. But AD and LeBron both being uncertain to play is obviously huge news that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Again, this is a really important game for the Lakers, so I think, I would think AD and LeBron try and play here, but who knows? Maybe the Lakers think, they can just win the rest of their games and still get the 6 seed or still get the 5 seed, which is a possibility. If AD and LeBron are both playing, I think they're going to get really big minutes here as long as the game is competitive. AD has been dominant lately. He's been crushing every night. He had another big game against Utah on Tuesday night. I would really like AD as a pay-up option if he's able to play here. LeBron, his minutes have kind of been trending up lately. He played big minutes on Tuesday. Obviously, the back-to-back is a concern after playing so many minutes on Tuesday, but he seems fully healthy right now. The fact that he was able to play that many minutes on Tuesday makes me assume he can do it again. I mean, even though he's at the later stages of his career, he's still a very well-conditioned athlete. So I would have some interest in LeBron if he's able to go. The rest of the Lakers, though, I'm not really interested in. But I do want to mention that DeAndre Russell, again, was out on Tuesday. And I think without DeAndre Russell, that does really benefit Dennis Schroeder. They don't have the game logs updated yet, but I think Schroeder had a really good game Tuesday. He did start in place of Russell, and if Russell's out again, he should start again. Schroeder played, 41 minutes, 18 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Pretty solid game. So I think Schroeder, if Russell's out again, is in play as well. That's really it for the Lakers, though, but we definitely need to talk about in a scenario where, Anthony Davis is out, LeBron is out, Russell's out. If all these guys are out for the Lakers, then we can expect, massive usage for Austin Reeves, massive usage for Dennis Schroeder. And I think you're going to see guys like Troy Brown take on a big role. Rui Hachimura would probably play more. Malik Beasley might have to pick up more minutes. So definitely, I think if LeBron and AD are both out, if LeBron, AD, and Russell are all out, I think Dennis Schroeder is the first guy that I'm looking to on the Lakers. I think the $5,800 salary would just be way too cheap for him if all these guys are out. I think Austin Reeves would be in play as well, but it's not like we're getting much of a discount on Austin Reeves. He's $7,500. So I would not be even if LeBron and AD are out, I wouldn't really be running to roster Austin Reeves. I think he'd still be okay. But Schroeder, I would like a lot. If Rui Hachimura were to start, I would like him a lot at $5K. Troy Brown, I think, would be an okay value. But we would kind of have to wait and see who would start. I guess it would be Rui. I guess it would be Troy Brown. It'd probably be Troy Brown, Rui, Reeves, Schroeder, and then maybe Wenyen Gabriel. Mo Bamba was doubtful, didn't play Tuesday. Maybe they would start him in place of AD. It would probably be Wenyen Gabriel, though, or maybe they just start Rui at center. But we'll have to monitor that news. Obviously, it's huge news right now, and unfortunately, this is the last game of the night. This is the only late night game, so I don't know if we're going to get news on AD or LeBron before lock. Hopefully we do, but we'll have to see. It's obviously a really important game for playoff seeding, so I hope at least that AD and LeBron play here, but we'll have to see. So that'll do it for that game, guys, and that'll do it for this 8-game Wednesday night slate. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This should definitely be a fun one. It's going to be one of those slates, man, where I think we're going to see a lot change. I tried to make this video the night before and give you guys kind of my best breakdown, but so many teams on back-to-backs here. We just have no idea how these teams are going to treat these games, so I think we could see a lot of guys get rested today. We'll have to wait and see on that, but again, I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you hit that like button down below if you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Also, go check out PrizePicks. You guys can sign up for PrizePicks. You can use my promo code Noah. When you sign up, you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you sign up with my promo code. Check out PrizePicks if you have not yet. Make sure to use that code when you do sign up. But good luck tonight, guys. Thanks for watching the video, as always, for supporting the content. Appreciate you guys a ton. We will see you in the next one. Peace.